On that topic, Annette, you wanted to speak.
Yes, hello. Yes, just several things on the agenda, actually. Just going back to what Councillor Bull was saying about the advert and yourself. The advert wasn't far wrong, to be honest. And what it said in the paper was, Portishead Town Council has engaged a locum clerk, Councillor Bob Bull, on a voluntary basis until a replacement is found. Now, the Town Council own statement on the Portishead Town Council website, and I've got a copy of it here, says, the council is now seeking a new clerk and will engage a locum clerk until a suitable permanent replacement can be found. Until a locum clerk is in place, Councillor Bob Bill will act as an interim town clerk on a voluntary basis. So it was more or less right, apart from the word locum replaced interim. So they weren't far wrong. So it's not as if it was a huge error, which takes me really onto that subject. There are several things of concern with Councillor Bull acting as an interim town clerk, not least of which is accountability. Now, I can't see any regulations that prevent him doing that. But if you think about openness, honesty and transparency and a councillor's accountability, I don't see how the proper officer, which is the town clerk, can undertake duties as well as being the town councillor. Because if you look at it, and I'm not saying that Councillor Bull is going to do anything or breach his code of conduct after he's come into this position as interim town clerk, but if he did, we're in a situation where we've got the proper officer being accountable to himself, and I just don't think that that's appropriate for our town council. And a little bit like Mr. Maltby was saying about staffing, I don't see why the town council has to employ a councillor. I know it's a voluntary basis, but you're still employing them. He may not be receiving any money for it, but it's the accountability part that worries me. And I would like it on record that I don't think it's satisfactory that Councillor Bull is the interim town clerk. So that's the first thing. Number two, I'd like to know, where is the full public consultation on the lake grounds that Janet Davey promised residents on social media was going to take place? And as there has been no full public consultation, I'd like to know when it is going to take place. What we can't have is a councillor saying this on social media without any evidence to back it up. Number three, Wyndham Way and Old Mill Road, the steering group. There are a few points of concern that I'd like to raise. Now, I wrote to the council and the town clerk actually responded, which I presume is the responses from you, Councillor Gardner. I won't go into all the questions until I get to number 7, because I'm not particularly happy with the answers. But number 7 was, how and when will Portishead Town Council commence consultations with the public on the discussions of the within the steering group, which of course should happen. And the answer was, I quote, any ideas emerging from the study will be shared with the public ahead of a public engagement process. Well, I don't feel that that is satisfactory. You and Councillor Goddard chose to be councillors on that steering group. And yes, we have two district councillors as well, separate to the town council. But it's really important that we hear some of what is going on before it gets to that final stage. Now, I would like to have reassurance that when certain things are being discussed in those steering group meetings with regard to residential accommodation, relocation of businesses, that we hear about it. I don't want those things. I'd like to have a follow-up. So these are the questions I'd like to ask on that at the moment. So the first thing is, will the Aberdeen Standard Investment relocate the current businesses in Old Mill Road before they build residential? And I'd like that asked to them. Will residents know as soon as residential numbers are being discussed at those steering meetings? Can we have a quick summary of the meetings that you've had so far? I think there's been 2 or 3 meetings at the moment. And also, with regard to feedback, I would like to have some reassurance that your position within those meetings is one as a town councillor and not in any way as a business owner. And I'm asking that for a very specific reason, because obviously you're representing the public at those meetings and nothing else whatsoever. So that's that. And then finally, I'd just like to say as well on the town clerk, I would like to pass my best wishes to Martin Salisbury, who I believe has been a fair town clerk. I do feel that he has had more work to do than any other town clerk that has been representing Portishead Town Council and acting for them. I think his hours have been extraordinarily long. I don't know whether that's not helped perhaps some of the reasons why he is wanting a part-time position. But I think I have to echo everything Paul Maltby's asked with regard to that position and what happens in the future. I think now Portishead Town Council has more staffing than it has ever had at a cost of the taxpayers' precept, and that is a concern, and I don't think it's sustainable. So thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for that. That's